Pleased to be joined now here on the SB Nation NFL show by somebody who is very famous, somebody who is very awesome, somebody who is very cool, and who I'm sure a lot of people think is very handsome. I'll go ahead and go that far. The one and only Tennessee Titans cornerback, Adoree Jackson. Adoree, thanks for taking the time to join us.
I appreciate the gas up, so I thank you.
Hey, you look sharp. For anybody watching us on YouTube, you do look good. I was telling you right before we started recording, I wore a nice Nike hoodie. Are you a hoodie guy? Like, are you I'm more of a half zip person myself. Sometimes, like, if you're laying back, the hood can kind of get at the back of your neck. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I think I'm more of a hoodie crew neck sweater type guy. I think that's my Steve.
Okay. Have you adjusted to life in Tennessee? I mean, over the last few years, because in California, I feel like hoodies aren't super necessary, more of like a fashion statement than a necessary piece of clothing.
I just feel like I done made it more of I guess, a universal thing. Try to dress it up, dress it down. I don't know, like dress it up, dress it down. With the way that I guess the trend or life is going. It's not. I mean, you can wear it and it might look cool, might be casual or whatever it may be. So I just try to switch it up, have my hoodies, my good clothes, and whatever it may be.
I promise you this won't be like any interview you do. That's my goal. And I actually had a lot of questions kind of ready for you because that's my job, but I totally threw them away because right before we started recording, I'm pulling back the curtain a little bit for everybody else. I know you're a big video game guy. You're a big Fortnite person, right? You a big Madden guy, 2K, FIFA, anything like that?
So I play 2K a lot. The Madden, I just, I guess getting into it. My friends did like a franchise, mode, so they got me into it. I was not as good, but I seen myself get better, by playing against them because they knew all the tricks and all the cheat plays, the cheese, as they say, on Warzone a lot. And the 2K actually just got the new 2K21, so I'm tapped in with that.
Okay, I know you're a big NBA guy. I want to get there too. On the franchise, are you the Titans or are you just somebody else? Like, I feel like that's an awkward question if you're not the Titans, I imagine.
So I think we go by division. So like we'll pick a number, random number, one through how many people it is, and it'd be like, okay, you three, you two get this division, you two get this division. So that's how we do it. And I think the last time I played, I was who was I? I think I was the Packers actually. Yeah.
Okay.
But I got to draft all the people I wanted, so it was pretty cool.
Okay, cool. Well, the reason I ask is right before we started recording, I don't know if you saw this in the lead up to jumping on the Zoom call with me. EA Sports announced that they are bringing college football back. So I don't know. Nobody knows right now if it's going to be like NCAA, whatever version it's going to be. Obviously, it's a whole different thing. You're one of the greatest college players of all time, obviously at USC. Your first thoughts on this coming back? Is this something you would be interested in?
I actually just heard it when my friends Quan, he hit me up and was like, man, they bringing this back out. I'm like, oh, that'll be fire. He was like, yeah, I need to do that, college basketball and the 2K. I mean, fight night.
Right.
And yeah, I used to love, that was my actual, goal when I was growing up. A lot of people, obviously want to go to the league, want to do this. I'm like, man, I want to get on the video game. And that was the first step that I could have been on the video game, was to be on that NCAA. But right when I got to college, that was the last year they made it. So I was like, dang. Yeah, it's actually gonna be exciting because the Road to Glory was awesome. When I first started playing, that Road to Glory mode was the best thing.
For sure. And then like if you had a lot of free time, so like, when we were young, like I had a lot of free time, you were training to be a college athlete and then in the NFL. So very different lives we've had. But it was cool because you could do like you could have your guy, you could like export him to Madden, you know what I mean? And have him like get drafted. And that was always really cool. Again, the life you've actually lived. I'm going to surprise pop quiz you. Do you know who the last NCAA cover athlete was?
Shoelace.
That's right. Do you know who this is a bit of a tricky question, so heads up there. The last Trojan to be on the cover of NCAA.
The last Trojan, I think it was was it Reggie or Carson Palmer?
It was Reggie Bush. So Carson Palmer was before that.
So Reggie Bush was the 2006 one, right?
He was the 2006 season.
2007.
Yeah. Okay. And but again, I'll give you the credit, but Mark Sanchez was technically on it in 2009, the 10 version, on the PSP version, not the full version.
Okay.
So a very tricky, gray area nonetheless. Speaking of gray, I feel like the Trojans, I don't like the gray face mask. I feel like it should be white. What are your thoughts there?
Were they gray when I was there?
I think so. Because I mean, they're generally gray. That's my point here. It's such a, like, the Trojan colors are so good, but the gray is just like a random drop in there. You know what I mean? Because you've got like red, white, and yellow, and then like the black cleats, which I like. But all of a sudden, it's just this gray in your face.
I never actually paid attention to that. I know always. I remember when I got there, the black shoes with the white laces was iconic. That was one of the things that we took and tapped to, and then just the uniform. I think those are the only two things that I actually remember when when you play there. That was your traditional. You either had the black shoes, the white shoelace, no matter what
Mhm.
you had. I remember my freshman year, I tried to green some different cleats that they didn't have the black shoelaces. I mean, the white shoelaces in. I put them in my bag, hit them. I go to the stadium. And it was like red and black cleats with no white laces. I go to my locker. Somebody put white laces, and I was so mad. I'm like, dang, I thought this was gonna be swaggy. But I mean, you get into the culture and the tradition of everything, and you start to appreciate it more. So having the white laces, the iconic jerseys, always having the yellow pants. I never knew the helmet was gray, but when we had the chrome helmets, I love those a
Oh,
lot.
for sure.
When Sark let us put on the chrome joints, them was fire. I love them.
See, again, these are things I think about. In the NFL, the Washington football team is the same color scheme as USC, but the face masks are yellow. And
Mhm.
you can tell me, I feel like that would suck. Like just always looking out through yellow. You know what I mean? Like, would that bother? Because it would be distracting. I feel like it's so bright in your face.
Yeah. I Yeah, I feel like probably having a yellow would be a little bit too much. I mean, probably because the helmets are. I mean, you just can't. I don't know. You don't want to take away from the helmet, but it actually looks good on them. I just haven't played in that a helmet that is, the crossbars and stuff are yellow.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It looked nice. I mean, when you picking uniforms out on Madden and you're doing everything, you're trying to get the swaggiest look. So I'm
Right.
going off of the appearance, like, oh, it's gonna look good, but I don't know if it actually feels good to play with.
Well, let's get to your team, the Titans. I'm a fan of the older jerseys when you were drafted, and especially the older helmet. Do you like the new ones?
I like them. They grew on me. I would say that for sure. But having the white helmet, I don't know, it's different. I had it
Mhm.
1 year, and now I had the other helmet for I think 3 or 4 years or 3 years. So it's like now I'm used to that. So it's like I really barely played in the white helmet. So
Right. So I
um,
know this past season was very different for you. Obviously, coming back and getting to play there at the end. What's your NFL career been like so far? Like, if you talk to the version of yourself that got drafted wearing the white helmet, like no telling what's about to change. With the helmet and everything. What would you tell him? Like, dude, you would have never believed that this would have happened.
shit, me getting hurt. Honestly, I don't.
Mm,
I never really thought that would be. I mean, obviously, I always say getting hurt or injuries is 100% chance in the league, but you never think about yourself getting hurt. So I would just tell them, stay patient and stay the course. It's gonna be a lot of ups and downs in life. My first real, I guess, obstacle of adversity in my eyes, or as in my adult stage.
hmm.
Growing up, to be able to battle and go through certain things and understand and learn different things about myself and my body in that aspect. So I would just that's pretty much what I tell my younger self, I guess my white helmet self, that man, it's gonna be a lot of ups and downs in this league and this game and in this life and journey that you have, but continue to have faith and continue to believe in God and figure out what brings you happiness. Because when you hurt, it's tough, You know what I'm saying? You ever been hurt? You know what it's like. You go through those emotional battles where sometimes you may feel good, sometimes you don't. Sometimes everything is going right. Sometimes you feel like now you're taking a couple steps back. So I think that mental health aspect is a great thing. I would say for athletes, when you get hurt, you get injured, don't be down and out. Stay positive, stay patient, and stay the course. Patience is a virtue, and God's timing is always correct and perfect. So that's what I would just tell myself. Stay the course.
You mentioned it a few times. I know faith is a big part of your life and your daily journey. Where does that come from for you?
My upbringing, my background, going to church every Sunday growing up. Um, I think my mom always having the gospel music on in the living
Hmm.
room when I wake up, so I know what time it is. But just getting in tune with that, and I think that helped shape me a lot. When I know I'm battling through something or feeling weary or whatever it may be, to be able to go read one of my favorite scriptures, which is Psalms 23. To be able to read that and know it and understand that the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And whatever I may my battle go through, I'm walking. I feel like I'm walking with myself. The Lord is with me, and I think that helped me out a lot going through this process, and then just growing up in general, just having that background and having something spiritually to cling on to. Because I always knew it was a higher being, above me to be able to do what I was able to do, be able to achieve what I achieved and keep me course. I'm always thankful. Thank Him every day for what He's given me and what He's blessed me with, and now just trying to maximize it to the best of my ability.
I think that's well said. And I think it sounds like you have a lot of mental discipline beyond that to go through the season you went through and to kind of handle that. I know things like that are unexpected and you can't necessarily foresee them, and you don't, it's different road to recovery for every person. And
Right.
especially being, it's one thing to be injured and miss time, but to do it in this season of all seasons, I imagine had to be isolating. And so you're right. Mental health is certainly very important. How do you handle your faith? Obviously your job requires you to be active on Sundays. I mean, do you find what Saturday night services, Wednesday services? I mean, because that's been a big part of your life.
Right. For me, I just try to at least stay in tune. I got the Bible app, so I get to see
Mm,
my daily verse every day. Try to get on the live stream, for the church
right.
that I've been going to. So New Life Community Church in East St. Louis. I try to get on the live stream and tap in as much as possible. But I mean, being a human being, not perfect, so I'm not going to sit here and say that
Sure.
I'm always be able to be in tune,
Right.
tapped in. Some weeks is good, some weeks it may not be. So I think just getting back in the tune, getting back in touch, with everything, because you can probably lose sight. I would say, of things. You're just going through life, going through the motions,
Hmm.
and aspects, because it's right there in front of you, be able to do it, and then having a setback actually makes you want to get back to the basics, and that's pretty much everything that's been going for me. But always still having faith, but now it's hitting you a little bit different because you never had these emotions or feelings before.
Right. I think that's well said. And I think the human honesty to that point, hey, I miss sometimes and I find ways on my app or whatever podcast. A lot of people have different places. They find ways to consume it. We did tweet that you were coming on. And so we did get a question that we really wanted to ask you, because I know you are big into the music scene as well. You mentioned the gospel music in your life.
I got
This
you.
is maybe a gospel song is the answer here. The new mixtape, a bit of a spoiler for the type of question here, asks, what is your most favorite hype song?
My most favorite hype song. What did I? It's crazy. I download a bunch of songs. I really been on my old school wave. I had some Marvin Gaye, some Teddy Pendergrass.
Okay.
I had a lot of the oldest, Curtis Mayfield. I had a lot of old school music on my phone. Just something soothing. But I usually just put my whatever I get, I put it on shuffle and just see what I'm feeling at the time. Like I really don't have a set song I'm just currently listening to. So, all the artists that are out, I'm pretty much tapped in, or I go on like YouTube and see like what's recommended, and I just play each song just to see if I like it. Just give me something to do, because I don't want to be closed, one-minded to a certain genre or a certain type of music. But I don't really have a hype music right now. I just put my phone on shuffle and go from there and see what I like.
That's well said. This is an interesting off season for you. I think it's an interesting off season for a lot of people. Heading into a contract year for you now in 2021. Does stuff like that weigh on your mind, and especially the success that your team has had? I mean, do you wrestle with those, or do you just kind of take it day by day and figure out tomorrow will be what I handle tomorrow?
Yeah, living in the now, pretty much that's my aspect of the present. I understand it's a lot coming up, but for me, just getting myself together, getting me right, worrying about me, focusing on me, and then I know the Lord will bless me with everything else that may come my way. So just being dedicated, grinding, staying the course, and staying 10 toes down, understanding that like I said, it's gonna be obstacles that's gonna come my way. It might hit me, but you might get bruised up, but that's all right. You be able to stand up and see the light at the end. So that's pretty much how I look and go through about life now. Just worrying about today. Now, what can I do to get better from yesterday, or what can I do to just get better in general? So that's how I'm looking at it. Not even worried about all the theatrics of everything else.
I think that's well said. Last one for you. Obviously, we've all had some time in our homes over the last year. What's a Netflix recommendation? Doesn't have to be Netflix. What's something you've streamed, something you've watched, and you're like, man, you've got to check it out.
It's crazy. I watched a show called A Million Little Things. I don't even know if people even heard of it. It's on ABC. I watched that. I don't like I'm saying, I just be watching stuff, and if I like it, I grasp to it. Being closed minded, I want to see a certain
Right.
type of show, whatever it may be. I'm really on the blackish, the grownish. I'll be watching The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. So that's one of the things that I be tapped into, which
That
is
takes some
cool.
time too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just be tapped into everything. The one I'm actually interested to see that's coming out, I think it's February this month. I think it's Snowfall. It comes back out.
Yeah.
So I got caught up on that when I was injured. So it was cool. You just get to tap into different lanes.
Okay, well, enjoy it whenever it comes out. Whatever this new NCAA football game is, enjoy that. Fire up the Trojans again, but figure out a way to get some white face masks on there. Trust me, it'll pop.
I
Just
I
you know,
got you. I got you. You got a PS4 or
I do.
Xbox?
I PS4. I'm on the hunt for a PS5 right now. So
All right, I'm gonna have to add you. I'm gonna have to add you on there so we can play.
yeah, I went to Texas A&M, so we'll get an A&M USC game going, and
Oh, you want a shootout?
a little bit of a
Okay, you
Cliff
want a shootout?
Kingsbury connection there, so it'll be fun. I'll use the Johnny year 2012, and we'll figure it out. It'll be a lot of fun. Uh,
Okay, I
but
got you.
Adoree Jackson, thanks so much for taking the time to join us, man. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great offseason. We're all rooting for you.
I appreciate it. Have a blessed one.